So the midwife gave me a referral to the only mental health practice in this area that took my insurance. And it's so crazy to think that there's like such a lack of mental health providers here. And I mean, we live in a fairly metropolitan area, but I don't know. So I go to this practice, and unfortunately they only had one doctor that had any openings in the next 3 months. So if I wanted to see anybody without having to wait another 3 months, I was going to have to go to her. Now, seeing how I needed to be signed off to get back to work after my medical leave, this was my only option to be able to return to work in a timely fashion. So, because obviously the midwife wouldn't sign off on me returning to work when I couldn't stop crying. So, I go to this psychiatrist, and I should have known. Like, the first appointment was okay. It was a lot of like me introducing myself and explaining the situation. And I try to explain the situation to her, like, hey, like, obviously I didn't have enough time to sit there and explain like everything in detail like I've done on here. So I gave her like the TV guide version and explained like, hey, I've got this like abusive husband. He's working on himself. He is an alcoholic. That's where the majority of my stress comes from. And I think actually when I first went to see her, he was in jail, because she started like giving me all this advice on like how to get him out of jail and stuff like that, which kind of struck me as odd, because I was going to a therapist because I wanted to talk about myself and my own problems, but I guess somehow she interpreted my problems were the fact that my husband was in jail. But in reality, I was wanting to talk about the reasons why he kept ending up in jail, So, we pretty much spent the first 2 sessions talking about him and what he does to get in jail. And then I explained to her, or just not even explain, I mentioned to her how he's got PTSD and a TBI. And it's like she got all excited because she had like specialized in PTSD when she was in school. Well, then at that point, my sessions became like literally all about him. And it was like pulling teeth to try to get her to actually talk about me and my feelings.